Hi folks, this is Karim Rao from IT Visualizer channel. Today this is our 16th video in the Transformers lab. Today we will discuss the utility of Microsoft which is called Microsoft Labs. It is abbreviation for Local Administrator Password Solution. This tool, briefly what it does, it just uh, change the password of the local administrator account, which it is by default an account in all Windows 10 and Windows Server installation process. Okay, let's see where is this local administrator account. It is in managed. It is by default in Windows 10 and Windows Server disabled, and as a security practice you need not only to disable this account but to rename it from administrator to any other name, and to change regularly the password of this account so it is not compromised by any attacker or any hacker. Okay, so the utility of Microsoft Labs, what it does, it changes the local administrator password regularly, based on an interval that it is set through the group policy, and it is group policy, and it works through an agent which is installed on the station or on the server. So it basically controls the local administrator through the group policy and the agent, and simply you just tell the utility that you need to change the local administrator password, for example, every 90 days or something, and you also give it the criteria of the password, it's complex or not complex, and you regularly, let's say that you have a centralized location. You can put the utility of Labs on a central location, okay, and manage all the passwords from this location. And actually it is the password for every PC that you change that is connected to the domain or joined to domain. The password will appear in the attribute tab in the Active Directory. So mainly we can brief all what is said, that it is a utility that gives you a centralized tool that can manage all of the local administrator accounts on all of the PCs and servers, manage the password of them, and change them on basic interval. Okay, so let's see first where is this local administrator. It's simple is local user groups. Here it is. This is the administrator. It is disabled by default. This is built-in account administration. So this is the one. It is disabled by default. As a best practice, you need to rename this account and give it another name, and to disable it and to change the password regularly for this account. This account is on all Windows installations process. As I said before, it is by default. This account is there, so you need to disable it. But I think I didn't disable this. It is by default done by the Windows itself, but you need to check and recheck this account. So here is a small description about what does this utility does. It utilizes Active Directory to manage and rotate passwords for local administrator accounts across all of your Windows systems. Okay, what does it say? It forces all local accounts to have unique complex passwords so an attacker cannot compromise one account. This is also another best practice. It gives the local account, all the local accounts, not one password but different passwords. So it's very difficult for example, if an attacker know one local password account, he will not be able to know the other, because it is generated regularly with different password sets. Okay, it's compared, and actually what does it say? It says the management of this password is done entirely through Active Directory components. So you can manage all of the passwords, as I said before, the manage of the password accounts, the local passwords accounts, through the Active Directory, through the computer object in the Active Directory. Right click and the properties, and you can see in the attribute tab the password. So this is mainly the Labs, and here is another one. This is another description. This is from Microsoft. Says provide a centralized storage of secrets, passwords in Active Directory, additional computers. Each organization domain administrator determines which user or help desk can see this password. Actually, you also through the group policy you can define which user is allowed to see the password through the Active Directory tools. Okay, this is also can be done. So as I said before, this utility is very important. You can manage all of the passwords through a centralized location, local administrator password, and this is a best practice. You need, as I said before, you need to disable the administrator account and rename it, and change the password of this account regularly, which is done by the local administrator password solution of Microsoft, and actually not giving one password to all local administrator user accounts, but giving different passwords for different machines. Okay, so let's see how this is done. We'll begin now the lab. So here we'll first go to the website of Microsoft and download the tool. It is basically two files, one for 64-bit systems and the other for the 86 or 32-bit systems, and some documentation. Okay, we download them all. So I'm using the Internet Explorer because when I am working with the virtual machines, the Chrome takes a lot of RAM. So this the Internet Explorer was the least of them using RAMs. So I'm just using it for best performance for the whole laptop. Okay, because actually I am using a lot of virtual machines, so it's taking a lot of process and RAMs. So when I try to search something on the internet, the browser takes also from the RAM, so I'm just using the Internet Explorer to have some RAM free for the virtual machines to work. Also this files, I will put it in the Transformers folder, which contains all my scripts and all of the lab documents, which will be on a Google Drive under the description of each video I put on my YouTube channel. Okay. This is folder, I have put it on the Google Drive. As I said, it is under the description for every video I put on my YouTube channel. Okay. So here is the documentation. This is one from the TechNet that we will use when set up or working with the how to set up the labs tool and the group policy involved with it and the agents. All of this we will do it through this TechNet documentation. Also, it is in the transformers folder. I will put it, as I said before, it will be in a link, Google Drive link, and also I will put it there so you can all see or refer to it when there is for more reference later. Here we will put the agents of labs, okay, or this is the agent. We need to manage all of the local administrator passwords. On all workstations and servers, we needed to install the agent on every workstation and server, okay. So we'll do this through login script. The user's login script, we will know how this will be done. Actually, I'm just installing the agent first on the server to show you all how does it works. Here we will install not the agent but also the administrator utility for this, or the management utility for this tool. From here we can control all of the local passwords from this utility. You can do this through this utility or through the PowerShell, but we will use this utility to manage all of the local administrator passwords. So we will install the agent and install the tool to manage this agent, okay. But as for the other servers or the other workstation, we will only install the agent, and we will know how this will be done. It will be done through the login script for every user that logins to the Active Directory. We will know how this is done. I have already a login script in my previous video. This is the login script that do some changes or make some registry keys that puts the keyboard layout, the time zone, and some tweaks. So we'll put a line in this login script. Here is this my computer. This is the login script that is implemented on every user that access or log into the domain. Here we will add a line. This is in the document of Microsoft, okay. We will add a line and tell it to install the agent in a quiet mode. Quiet mode means that it's silent mode. That means that the user will not see anything. It's installed silently. Here it goes. This is the command. You will msxi/i, and then you will tell him the location, and at the end /quiet, that means that it will not give any notification or any message or any installation messages to the user. It is done silently. We will see how this is done. Actually, I made an error here, but we will see now. I have put the agents in the domain controller number 2, and actually in the backgrounds folder, which is the share folder that I use for the login script to go and get all of the registry keys I need. It was not correct. It is on domain controller 1, not domain controller 2. Backgrounds folder is on domain controller 1, not domain controller 2. So we'll see now what we will do. I'm just updating the group policy. You will see that now. Actually, don't be confused, because actually I have done a mistake, but we will see this when I implement the script. This is the location of the login script that is applied to all users. If you want to know more, you need to go to my previous videos, the first videos. Okay, here I'm trying to install the agent by running the script, but actually there is a problem. As I said before, I have put the agent in the wrong folder. It needs to be changed. I have put the agents, if you see from a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, I have put it in backgrounds on domain controller number 2. Okay, I have the same folder on domain controller 1, and actually the shared one or the one that I have shared, it is on domain controller 1, not domain controller 2. So I'm just checking to see if the agent is installed, but it wasn't installed. We will see now where is the problem. Let me show you. Okay, I have put the agent on this domain controller, okay, which contains the background folder, which assumedly it is shared, okay, but actually this was not correct. The background, I have two folders with the same name, so the shared one is on the domain controller number 1. So I need to put the agent on domain controller number 1, not domain controller number 2. Okay, so the script can see the shared one is on domain controller number 1. We will see that now. I will do it in a second. Even I try to install the agent manually, just to make sure that I don't have any problem, but after a couple of seconds I realized that I didn't put the agent in the correct folder, so the script can see it, or the right location, okay, because the location is not correct. When I run the script, I know that it's already on folder backgrounds on the first domain controller. So as you see here, this is the second domain controller. If we can pause it for a moment. Okay, this is the background folder on the second domain controller. I have put the agent here. This is not correct. I have another folder with the same name on domain controller 1, and this is the shared one that the login script for users use to implement the register keys and all of the things I need. So I need to go to domain controller number 1 and put those agents on this domain controller. I will do this in a moment. As you see here, I didn't put it in the correct folder. This is the correct folder, so now we will try to run the script. Here we will run. Actually, this is done automatically, but I'm running it manually just to test if the script is working. Here we will see that it's installing all of the scripts, and now it's working. It's installing the 64-bit agent for this utility. If you check the programs and features, we will see that it is installed already. Here we can see that the local administrator password agent is installed. So here we will follow the document. Now we will begin working with the group policy. This group policy, it contains the setting for the interval which this password need to be changed and the criteria of the password a lot of things we can control through the group policy, and I said before, this utility works with group policy and the agent of the tool, or the agent of the solution password. This one, it uses the agent and the password, but before that we need to extend the schema. So what we mean by extend, we'll extend the Active Directory schema so that the password and the expire of password will appear for the local administrator, will appear on the Active Directory attribute tab. Let's I will emphasize more. For example, we need to, as I said before, we need to extend the schema of the Active Directory. So in every computer object on the domain controller on the Active Directory, when we right click it and get to the properties, we will have a tab in the attributes that contains the tab of password and expire password for the local administrator password, local administrator user account for this PC. Okay. So we'll import, there is first is to import the module, and then we'll run two PowerShell commands to extend the schema and to update it, to extend the schema, and so this two attributes will appear on the one for the password and the one for the expire. We will see that now live after we do the two commands. And here actually a problem arises, but let's first, you have imported the module. We have two modules. The first one is to install, update the import or increase the schema or edit the schema, and the other is to update the schema. Here we will see an error that appears that it doesn't recognize this command. Actually the problem was because I was on the L drive, so this command didn't work. We need to go C Windows/System32 and then begin working with this command, because this command doesn't work from the L drive. I have tried on both domain controllers and the same error, so at the end I recognized that I need to be on the C Windows/System32 and begin working with this PowerShell commands. I begin working again with the same error. So I can just save time for you all, because I go to the second one and the same error appeared. Okay, the same one. So I think I begin, no, still import. And I begin installing it, the utility on the domain controller, but still I have the problem. So I am passing it really quick. So here, as I said, we will go. I recognize that the error was because I was on the L drive, so I need to go to C and then C Windows and then System32 and then begin applying the command. This document, as I said before, it will be in the transformers folder, so don't worry, I will leave it. Okay, and then we will go to update Active Directory schema. So here now it's successful. It had added the schema attribute, the two attributes that we need, and modify. We will see now how this will appear when in any computer on the domain, in the Active Directory utility. By right-clicking the computer object, you will see that in the attribute tab. So we need, after doing this, extending the schema, we need to set some writes. Okay, this is done, but let me first pause it for a moment. Here it says the next step, we will grant computers, the computer objects on the Active Directory, the ability to update their password attribute using the set command. Brief speaking, that we are giving the computer object the permission to update the password. Okay, here example, I got the computers OU. Here is the where the I have it in another different OU in my domain. Okay, so here basically, as he said, he gives the computer the ability to update their password attribute using the set. For example, if I use the utility and set a password, the computer should have a new password. The computer should have the ability to write this password or update this password in the Active Directory. Okay, so you need to give it a permission, and then this is for the computer, and the other one is the expire time. Okay, this should have the right permission. Okay, this is required permission to update password expiry date. These two things we need to give the computers the right for the password expire time and the read, I think, for the password itself. Okay, it's permissions, we don't need to know much about this. We will give permissions. This is the Microsoft documentation. We need to give permissions to the on the OU that contains our computer objects. We need to give them the permissions for updating the password, local administrator password, and the expiry time. We'll see that now. Actually, we don't need to know much, but we need to have this permissions done. Okay, and actual documentation explains itself. It says that we need this. This should be done or every OU that you have. You will see that now in a moment. I will do it on my Active Directory. I have 3 OUs, one for CompBot, this contains my workstations, SurfBot, which contains my servers, and Robots, which contains also my workstations. So I need to give all the computers in all this Active Directory OUs these permissions. Through to command set admin password permission. This is the first one. Here I have my CompBot. This is the OU that I need. We need to give all the computers under this OU the permission to write the password, that it is done by the utility to write it in the Active Directory attribute tab. Okay, this is self permission, and I have also the SurfBot. I have robots only also. This is my 3 OUs. And actually there is another thing in this document. You can also define through the PowerShell which users have the ability to see the password on the attribute of the computer object. We will see that now also. This also all will be clear when I begin showing you on the Active Directory where this password is written. Okay, we will see that now. First we give the permissions. This is all the OUs I have that contains computer object in it. Okay, so we have all of them set. Then we need, it said repeat this process for every OU, removing the extended write. This is the one that I'm talking about. From here it says to restrict ability to view passwords to specific users and groups, to remove all extended writes from users and groups that are not allowed to read the value. Yes, this is, as I said before, we will have 2 attributes. It will be on the computer object. When you right click on it, and in the attributes you will see a tab for the password, local administrator password, and the expiry date. So if you are in the IT department, you have a lot of people and you need some IT personnel to see this password and others not, you can do this through removing the extended write. Okay, so give certain users the ability to see the password attribute through the computer object. Okay, so this is done. Actually I have only 1 or 2. I need all of the IT group to see this password, so this is not not working for me, but you can know the steps. I will do it so you can all see. It's done through ADS edit. And then we right click the OU that contains the computers, and then the security tab. We will see that now in a moment. So we'll open the server manager and then tools, and then we will open the ADSI edit. This is the one responsible for editing the schema of the Active Directory. You just connect first. This is the first thing you need to connect, and click OK. So here we will open and then go to the OU that contains our computers, which is CompoBot or robots and Servbot. This is the three OUs that I have that contains computer objects. So right click the OU itself and properties, and we'll see the security tab. Here you can see from the advanced, you can see that the only one that have full control is the domain admins. All of the other doesn't have any rights, so we don't need to do this. And actually the admins, the IT group is a member of the domain admins. He said that deselect the group or users that you don't need them to see the password. Actually this is done because you don't need the attribute tab. It's simply will not give the user the attribute tab. It will not appear for him, okay? Because the attribute tab appears only for certain groups. Actually this is done. If you want this tab to appear, we need to first click advance and then get this tabs to appear. We will see that now in a moment, but actually I don't need. I see that all of the users doesn't have any rights, only the domain admins, so we will not change anything, but this is the way you need. And actually the only one that will have the domain control or only have the Active Directory tools will be the IT. No one have this access. But if you need certain individuals in the IT to see passwords or not, you can do this through groups or users. So here we run this command to see which users have the ability to see the password. Okay, this is a command we run on PowerShell to see which users or groups have the ability to see the password and password expire attribute on the Active Directory. in general, who have the ability to see the extended rights or the extended tabs on the Active Directory? We'll see what we mean by the extended tab. Here, ComboBot, you can see that only the system, NetZSol system and domain admins have the ability to see the extended rights tabs. Okay, I am just checking all of my, so I don't need anything. This is the system and the domain admin, so this is typically what I need. I don't need, I need them, these groups, to see the password. I forgot an S. Here the next step will grant rights to users to allow them to retrieve a password. We will need to do this command. This is the read permission. But actually I need to do this for the IT personnel. For the first command is to give the computers the right to write the password in the Active Directory attribute password field and expire date, and the second thing is to give the permission for a certain group to read, which will be for the IT, to read the local password, which will be done for the IT. Actually, there is a problem. I tried to give it to the domain admins, but actually it didn't work, because actually the PowerShell, the domain admins contains a space between the domain and admins, so when you try to type it in the PowerShell, he doesn't know what it does it mean. In the PowerShell, you can't understand the spaces. Okay, so I give it to the tr_it group, which is a member of the domain admins, and actually this is more professional. You give it to your IT group, not to the domain admins, because as I said before in previous videos, I have my tr_it, which contains all my IT personnel group in a group member from the domain admins and the enterprise admins and the schema admins, and this is also best practice to make a group for the IT and make them member of all of these groups, not to put the user directly or the IT directly in these groups. Prefer working with groups, of course. So here, when I try to, we have to do this read permission to all of the OUs that contain my computers. So I am typing it. As I said before, it didn't work because there is a space between domain and admins. So in PowerShell script, it doesn't know or doesn't translate the space. It doesn't recognize the space. So actually I tweaked the command not to put the domain admins, not to give this group, to give the tr_it, which is my IT group, the read permission. As I said, he sees that the parameter cannot be found, admins. He didn't see the domain because there is a space between both of them. I think it can be done by putting a slash, because I think it was in the Linux, was the same. I think we have to put a slash before admins to work, but actually, as I said before, it's for my good sake, or it is best practice to put the IT group, not the domain admins group. And as I said before, the IT group is a group of the domain admins, so we don't need this. So actually I will change it now. I will change it to put my IT group TR underscore IT, which is abbreviation of transformers underscore IT. This is, yes, it is delegated. And then we will do this for all of the OUs that contains my Active Directory OUs that contains the computer's object. So now we have the rights done. I think the next step is to begin applying the group policy. Here is the setting. A setting will appear for this. In the group policy we will have something called labs, a tab under administrative templates. In this group policy we will define the interval of time needed for the local administrator user account passwords to be changed. Can say it for 90 days or something. This is the password expiration and the complexity of the password. I prefer to do it the same as the domain policy, the default domain policy, or if you need it, for example, someone in a video have done two different policies, one for the servers. He, for example, put a criteria for the local administrator user account on servers to have a complexity of 20 characters, okay, and expiry for 90 or 30 days. And for his workstations he done another different password policy for the complexity to be 8 and, for example, 90 days. So it is your choice to do what you like. I prefer to do it the same as the domain password policy, but here a problem also arises when you first set up the local administrator password solution agent and installing everything. The policy didn't appear. Okay, we will see now here it says in the documents that when you actually I will put the password for sorry, here is the policy that I will edit. When you edit, you have, as I said before, when you install the agent, it installs the labs group policy and the group policy management. Okay, for me it didn't appear, and I will tell you why. Here when I try to see under, it should appear under policies. Take note that when working on the first videos we have done for the templates, we have done a central location, and I said before, if someone needs to know, it's active. We have done something called Active Directory central template location. Okay, so this is basically we have done a central location and put all of the templates in it. Okay, for simplicity and for management. So if someone needs to know, you can return back. Let's see, I can give you something here we can remember. It is called Active Directory. So we can remember what I did. Active Directory central location template. Yes, group policy central location. It is called group policy central location. Okay, this is the group policy, is a location to store all group policy templates. Okay, this is, we have done it in the first videos in my lab. Okay, so basically this is in it is in the sysvol. We have put this location in the sysvol folder, and then in the policies folder. Okay, so what happens that the labs group policy doesn't appear because the agent has put the template in the C Windows policy definitions. This is the default location for the group policy, and as I said before, I have changed its location to sysvol folder and then policies folder, so this was the problem. Okay, you can return back and see what does it mean, how to configure central group policy central store, and what does it mean. Here is the link. you can see this and can return it to see if what is the benefits of using it and how it is done. Okay, so we'll return back. So basically I got to that location, the default location for the policy, and I got the template and copy it to my central group policy stored location. Please refer to my first videos in this. This is, I think, the first or second video, maybe the third video in my series of the Transformers lab. You can return to it and see what does this mean. So I said before, the labs will not appear. This, if you open the group policy, this doesn't appear. It's under administrative templates. It should appear. So I'm trying to figure it out, but actually after some time thinking, it was, the group policy was in the default location, which was C Windows underscore C Windows policy definitions. Here was the group policy, it was there. The agent had installed this group policy there. And as I said before, I have a central group policy location, which was in sysvol policies folder. So here, okay, I go to C Windows, okay, policy definitions. I have copied it all because I copy all of the templates again and put it in my sysvol folder. Here is the central location, Transformers local policies. Here is policy definitions. Here is the central location, the new location for the group policy templates. So I paste it. And here he said, I did tell him to skip the files that are similar. So we can see that there is admin pw.admx. This is the new template for the labs utility. So when we go to the group policy, we will see that it appears. Actually, my WSOS policy, this policy is only applied to the computers only and not the servers. Actually, I will do another policy for them, but this policy is only applied to the computer objects. So this is the one I need because it is the local administrator user account. Sorry folks, here we can, as we see that the password policy appeared. So here we have some settings need to be changed. First, we'll enable local admin management. This is the first feature to enable. Here we can see that the second policy says that by default the password complexity is 14 characters and the password will be changed every 30 days. If you need to change this setting, you can change it. I prefer it to be the same as the password policy for the domain. Best practice is to be 90 days and password complexity to be 8. Maybe you can do this for the workstations, but for the servers, if you need to do this in another setting you can do it. So it is the password setting, you can change it. Here you can get the complexity. It's large letters, small letters, numbers, specials. I have used this one. The default is, as I said before, it's 14, password length 14, and the password age to be 30 days. I have done it by 8. I need only to be 8 characters. You can, as I said, you can do two policies, one for the servers and the other for the workstations if you like. I prefer it to be the same as the domain. Here if you have changed it, here if there is another account or another domain account instead of the local administrator account, so you can verify the name. And actually there is a little note, you don't need to enable this feature even if you have renamed the administrator account, because he knows this by default. For example, I have named my local domain local administrator account on the workstation to be care of, renamed it for administrator to care of. So the utility knows this. You don't need to use the group policy of giving him the name. He knows if you change the administrator to another name, this utility verifies this and knows this and change it and knows this is the local administrator user account. So I think, and this is another utility. So in another, sorry, this is another setting. It says do not allow expire after the time. It says if you want to allow setting planning password expiration of admin for no longer than maximum password age. So this is the command, PowerShell command, to get the password of the local administrator account on any PC you have. We can do this through the PowerShell or through the GUI of this utility. We will see that in a moment. Here is the shortcut for the utility of the password. I will put this shortcut on my desktop and open it, so we can change the password through the PowerShell or through this utility GUI interface. So the location of the utility, it is in C program files labs. From this utility you can get or change any password on any workstation. But when you install the utility, you should install with it the management tools, because this is the management tool. We will see that now in a moment. We will go to C and then program files, and then labs, and then I'll put shortcut for this one on the desktop. Here we just put the name and search. He will give it a password. You will see that now. Here is the, if you open the attributes in the computer object, you will see two attributes is MSMCS admin password, and this is the password and the expiry date. Okay, here you can put the computer name and then search. When you click search, it generates a password and an expiry date according to the group policy that you have that we have configured from a couple of seconds. We'll try this now in a moment. I will open my workstation. Here I will show you how to get this password from the Active Directory. As we said before, it will be an attribute. We can, if we, for a couple of seconds we saw the screenshot. Okay, here I will get, for example, CompuBot. Okay, and we'll right click on any computer object and properties. We should see the attribute tab, but here we didn't make the view advanced. We have to get the view and tell him to get the advanced features. So again, we will get any computer object and right click properties. Here is the location. There is an attribute. Here is the location. You can see the password and the expiry date, the local administrator user account password for any computer and the expiry date for it. It's called MC. I thought it was with the P, but it's M, begins with M. I open the documentation again and see. So here it's called MSMCS admin password. Here it goes. Still we didn't put a password and expire, but we will do this in a moment. We will put a password, or we will change the password. I think there is an issue here. I did close it. I think yes, because after that I didn't try the password, but I think I did something else. Yes, that's it. I think yes, okay. Okay, let's start here. I think this will be done in the following lab, on the following video. Okay, in the following video I will show you how to change the password. We will join another workstation to the domain and then begin changing the local administrator password, and also to test the Microsoft user virtualization experience. We will do this two testing in one video, okay, with a completely new virtual machine to join the domain. So we can try this from a fresh start, okay? So until then, we will try this, as I said before, we will try this password utility in the next video, so stay tuned. We will see that in the next video. Thank you so much, and see you the upcoming video. Thank you so much.